like online, because that's really what it is. It's the photographs and stuff that come through the feed.
Right.
And I was like, what? Like, because she had like
She sent out some crazy video clips that Terrence Howard gave her about Diddy's so-called secret parties. Now, Terrence Howard is finally speaking out about Diddy, and the gossip is seriously intense. For years, Terrence has been open about how he was basically pushed out of the industry after he refused to get involved in the shady things some big Hollywood names are part of. And now, with all the new rumors coming out about Diddy, people are starting to see who these powerful people really are. But guess what? Diddy isn't the only one getting called out. Terrence also had something to say about Diddy's girlfriend, Young Miami. He's saying that she was supposedly involved in those wild parties too. But the biggest shock is what he claims he caught her doing on camera. And believe me, it's way messier than anyone expected.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to... That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands-off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth.
This situation is about to blow up, no doubt. What Terrence just said about Diddy is crazy. And the wild part? He said it out of nowhere. No one even knew Terrence had anything on Diddy like that. Just a few days ago, Terrence showed up on a podcast. And wow, he had a lot to say about Diddy. From the sound of it, his story isn't much different from what other people have been quietly saying about Diddy for years. All those sketchy rumors, strange behavior, and stories about being invited to weird and uncomfortable situations. Terrence said Diddy hit him up, asking for help with his acting. That's already kind of strange. Yeah, Diddy acts sometimes, but he's not some big-time actor needing private coaching. Still, Terrence thought it was just business, so he showed up ready to work. But once he got there, Diddy started acting real weird, like he had something else in mind. Terrence wasn't having it. He made it super clear he doesn't mess with that kind of stuff and wasn't going to stay around for it. He shut it down right away, no hesitation. And apparently, Terrence wasn't about to keep quiet. He said he's not the only one Diddy tried that stuff with. He claimed Diddy hit on every man who showed up to those famous parties of his. Terrence even said that guys would lose their man cards at Diddy's wild parties. Basically, no one was safe at those events. It all sounds super shady for real, but here's the craziest part. This isn't even the first time Terrence has exposed the dark side of Hollywood. He's been dropping hints for a while that he got pushed out of the industry because he wouldn't go along with their messed up rules. Back in the day, Terrence already shared the real reason he quit acting. And no, it wasn't just because he was tired or not getting roles. He said Hollywood tried to take away his manhood. Crazy, right? Once he stood up for himself and refused to play along, people started talking about him, calling him difficult, and trying to flip the story like he was the problem.
But when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the Puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man.
Same old tricks they use on women in the industry. As soon as a woman speaks up or refuses to play by their dirty rules, boom, they turn her into the bad guy. So when Terrence announced he was quitting acting in December 2022, people were shocked. The timing didn't make sense. He was still landing big roles, had a lot of fans supporting him, and there wasn't any public drama that would explain why he suddenly wanted to walk away. But if you listen to Terrence, he said there was a lot. happening behind the scenes. According to him, the industry tried to push him into shady and uncomfortable situations, things he felt were meant to break down his pride as a man. And when he stood firm and said no, Hollywood hit back hard. This is the dark side of the entertainment business. One thing Terrence keeps speaking out about is how he was pressured to wear a dress for certain scenes. He refused. He said those scenes had nothing to do with the story and felt like they were just trying to embarrass him or take away his masculinity. Crazy, right? Sounds like a setup. And let's not pretend this is something new. Over the years, many black male actors have talked about the same thing. Producers pushing them to wear dresses in movies or skits where it didn't make any sense. Cat Williams even explained it during his interview on Club Shay Shay. He was very honest and said this pressure to act feminine or wear a dress goes deeper in Hollywood than people think. According to Cat, those requests often come with a tempting deal, something that looks great on the outside, but costs you your self-respect. Cat said he's turned down big paychecks more than once just to protect his pride. Just to keep my integrity, he said, and you could really feel that. When that interview with Cat Williams dropped, Terrence backed him up right away. He came through with support and shared some powerful thoughts of his own.
Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Can I need another one? You here, get you another one.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Come on.
Because early on you was accusing me of being...
Y'all remember those old rumors that Terrence Howard got fired because he had a bad attitude or was hard to work with? Well, Terrence himself said that's exactly why they let him go. He explained, "My dad told me to never lose my backbone or stop speaking strong. I didn't raise no sheep. I raised men. Stay strong. Real talk." Terrence also said it's hard to be a real man these days because society doesn't support strong men anymore. He feels like everything is becoming too gender neutral. He pointed out that the most successful men now act more feminine, and he thinks that's a problem. In another interview, he even said there's a plan to make black men more feminine because strong black men are seen as a threat. He said, "Men are being turned soft, and society only lets white men look powerful. When a black man is strong, he's seen as dangerous." He made it clear he's not going to change who he is just to fit into weak Hollywood stories. He said, "Hollywood needs to tell better stories and let men stay men while still respecting women's beauty." That message really hit. After saying all that and taking shots at Diddy, people started connecting the dots and things started making more sense. But it doesn't stop there. There's even crazier stuff coming out. Rumor is Terrence has even more dirt to expose, and 50 Cent is somehow in the middle of it. After Terrence's interview blew up, 50 tried to stay quiet. He just said, "No comment, I'm staying positive, God help us all." But word is, Terrence has a wild video from one of Diddy's crazy parties. It supposedly shows young Miami in some very questionable situations. Honestly, that's not surprising anymore. People have been whispering that young Miami knows way more than she lets on. Some say she wasn't just there. She was part of the plan. And there's more proof. When Diddy's other girlfriend, Gina Hine, posted a pic with him, Miami allegedly lost it. She got so jealous she threatened to make Diddy force Gina into one of those wild parties. Miami went off online. She said, "Gina, you've been down bad since I showed up. You've been crying for a baby for 15 years. She kept going, saying Gina was just a side chick Diddy used when he felt like it. Then she added, "You begged Tasha K for a baby. Poor Sushi." And she didn't stop there. She said, "You wanted a baby. I got a career. You're a certified freak." Miami even mocked her, saying, "You haven't heard from Diddy since the awards. Let it go. If I wanted you to eat me, Diddy would have had you on your knees. You're a munch. It was a full-blown meltdown, and the accusations keep getting worse. According to court documents, another one of Diddy's women, going by Jane Doe, said she was forced to take drugs at his house. She said that in July 2022, she went to Diddy's LA mansion. While in his bathroom, she was pressured to take something that turned out to be ketamine or another drug. She blacked out and couldn't remember anything. Jane Doe said she woke up, bruised with no memory of what happened. She said Diddy made her perform for him, gave her more alcohol and drugs, and she kept waking up hurt. This went on until July 2024. Then it got even darker. She found out she was pregnant with Diddy's baby. But when she told him, all hell broke loose. One of Diddy's close people, Korea Brownlee, aka Young Miami, allegedly started harassing her, calling non-stop and pressuring her to end the pregnancy. Not long after, Jane Doe had a miscarriage. After that, she cut all contact with Diddy and his team for 3 months. This is seriously heartbreaking. And yes, Korea Brownlee is Young Miami from the City Girls. When you remember how she reacted when Diddy had a baby with another woman in 2022, it's not hard to believe she might have gone after Jane Doe too. But wait, there's more. Lil Rod's lawsuit brought even more shocking claims. He said Young Miami wasn't just around. She was involved. He said she even had family in on it. In one case, Diddy was allegedly drunk and trying to get Lil Rod to do coke. When Rod said no and went to the bathroom, Miami's cousin ran in, grabbed him, and tried to force herself on him. Rod pushed her off and tried to leave, but she followed him, took off her clothes, and tried again while Diddy's crew just stood there watching. Another incident happened in Miami on Thanksgiving 2022. Diddy asked Rod and another guy, Forrest Taylor, to go into a studio bathroom with him. He wanted a $100 bill to snort coke. Rod didn't have one, but later Diddy still got high, this time with Young Miami. On top of that, Miami was also accused of helping Diddy move drugs around. Court papers said that during rehearsals for a festival, Rod saw Diddy using coke in the dressing room. When he ran out, someone called Young Miami, and she allegedly sent more from Florida. It gets even messier. Lil Rod claimed Young Miami was getting paid monthly by Diddy for her services. The court said she, Jade, and Daphne Joy were all getting wire transfers from someone in Diddy's circle, basically saying this was part of a bigger ongoing operation. At this point, it's clear that Young Miami is deep in this mess. And with 50 Cent allegedly holding a video of her caught red-handed, things could get ugly fast. Everyone knows 50 is messy and petty, and he lives to expose people. With the beef between him and Diddy going back 20 years, this might blow up. Big time. Things aren't looking good for Young Miami. And honestly, Terrence Howard might be telling the truth.